just dawned on me I'm not on camera. So hi everyone, Edie here, and as I mentioned, I am doing this month's theme is embracing tools that have stolen my heart in reference to video creation and video marketing. And I'm going to be featuring two of those tools today. And the two tools today that I'm going to be talking about are Zoom and Fathom Notetaker. So some of you may have seen, I have a video on YouTube on Fathom. I've been using Fathom for quite a while. And I think I did the video when they sort of up the ante and enhance their product a little bit more. And I've been using it extensively since then and really been enjoying it immensely. So again, if you have any questions, post them in the comments. I would also love to hear from you. What tools have stolen your heart in the month of February, since this is, Valentine's month, but it's also Black History Month, and I love my Black history. But anyway, so please share what tools you're using that you really enjoy so that I can get some info on that if it's not a tool that I'm already using. So today I'm going to share my screen. It's going to be predominantly me sharing my screen. And what I'm going to do is just walk you through how I utilize these two tools. So Zoom, for most of us, I think the vast majority of us have been using Zoom since, for sure, COVID. And for some of us, we've been using it prior to that. If you are using something other than Zoom for your meetings and one-on-ones and group sessions and things of that nature, post them in the comments below. I know that Fathom works with Google Meet as well. I'm not as well versed on Google Meet. I usually have meetings that somebody else will set up, but I've not set up too many meetings on Google Meet. Zoom is my go-to meeting tool. And then Fathom is the way that I take notes. So I'm going to share my screen so that I can kind of walk you through what I do. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the comments and then also share with me what it is that you're using for your meetings. And then if you're using a different note taker, because I know that there are some other tools I've used. Fireflies way back when, and I've used Otter to transcribe my notes at any rate. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with Fathom Notetaker is a tool that can record your meetings, so you don't even need to record in Zoom. You can if you want to. The quality obviously is going to be a little bit better in Zoom. And then it also transcribes your calls or your meetings, depending on what it is that you're using it for. But the thing that I like the most about it is that it then can organize and then summarize your content in a much more effective way than tools that I've used in the past. I used to use Otter. Otter started to summarize sometime last year, I want to think. But it was really wonky when it first came out. I think it's a little bit more better now than it was when it first came out. But with Fathom, they kind of upped it a little bit more. So I want to kind of walk through some of that with you so that you can see what it is that it just dawned on me. I forgot I needed to share something first. So I wanted to share this screenshot first. So the way that it works is you have your Zoom call, and when you have your Zoom call, you're going to bring in that app, and that app can either be you're externally bringing it in from your computer, or you can bring it in through Zoom itself, because Zoom has a number of different apps that you can add, like timers and things of that nature. So this is an example, and I got my my guest's permission to share this. Thank you, Jen, again, for letting me use your image. But this is what it looks like when you are doing a call or a meeting, whatever it is. So your notepad or your Fathom note taker will appear down here, and you will have your conversation up here. Now, the reason why I like note takers is because it allows me to stay present in the conversation. I can really engage with them. There are going to be instances where maybe they might say something that I want to remember. And so I might scribble down something once in a while, but I'm not constantly taking notes, because I found that when I was on my Zoom one-on-ones, whether they were consultations or they were client calls, I was spending more time down looking at my pad than really paying attention to how animated that person might have been, or really paying attention to exactly what it was they were saying, which allowed me to really be able to have a clear understanding of what their needs were. I was spending more time just writing things down and then trying to collect my thoughts and then respond. Whereas by having a note taker, you can be way more interactive. You can have a conversation. You can be present in the conversation with them. And like I said, even though Fathom does record, you can still have your recording done in Zoom if, say, for example, you wanted to use the quality of that video somewhere else. Totally up to you whether you wanted to do that or not. So that's one of the things that I really enjoyed. And like I said, you can do this for, you can use this for Google Meet as well. But that's what and the reason why I like using it. So once my video session is over, I close out of Zoom, and at that time, the meeting ends for Fathom. Fathom then starts to process that information, and you have to go on to their website. Now, they do have a window that's left open that allows you to immediately share the link if that's what you wanted to do, or you can just immediately go to Fathom so that you can see your recording. So the first page that you're going to go to is going to be a sea of all of these screenshots because of all of the calls that you've already had. And so once you open up that particular call, and this one, and I'm going to play it so that you can see that it's the same call. Once you are in that call and you're able to have your conversation with that person, you can see underneath here that there are two options. You have the option of looking at the summary of that call, or you can get the transcript. So if you click over here for transcript, you can see the transcript of the conversation that we had. You can then copy that transcript if for whatever reason you wanted to have a copy of it. You can certainly do that. But what I love absolutely the most is that when you come here, you have 12, this is on the paid version. This is the other thing with Fathom. They have a free version and they have a paid version. And a free version, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a while, I think gives you the chronological and the general summary. So back when they first came out, there was literally only one kind of summary, and whatever that summary was what you got, and you took it or left it. You know, you really didn't have too much of a choice. But now they've come up with all of these different options, and they're all based on the type of call that you're having. So for me, in my business, I use Zoom for networking. I use it for having consultations, whether they're just general consultations. I have them for, or very specific consultations, which are more strategy sessions. So I can have them for strategy sessions. I can have them for group coaching as well. And so depending on the type of call that you have, I also have quarterly calls with my clients where they're we get to talk about what we've done for the previous quarter, what we need to do for the upcoming quarter. So those are more like progress type meetings. And so you can have a summary created based on the type of meeting that you had. So if it's just a general, I just want to have a general idea or an understanding of what was talked about in this particular meeting, then you can see here that this is general. It talks about what the meeting purpose was, the key takeaways, the topics that were discussed, and then the next steps, which I think is also a really good game changer, because again, that's something that you're discussing on the call, and you may forget by the time you finish the call, or you may not have written it down properly. Now, one thing I want to bring your attention to is before you saw that she froze, the person that I was speaking to froze. The quality of the recordings is not that great. It's not for the purpose of repurposing it anywhere else. It is just in the event that you want to see what you were talking about, or see that person, or whatever reason, or if they want to see themselves as well. It's not for taking this and then putting this up as a YouTube video or sharing it on social media. If you really want to do that, then whatever the platform is that you're on, Google Meet or on YouTube is going to be, I can't speak for Google Meet. For Zoom, you can certainly record your video. So that was, that's for general. Then if you wanted, say this was a sales call, then it would give you all of the deal information. It would tell you the prospect's name. It would tell you the context of the call. It would tell you if there were any discussions of how many people would need your services. What was the budget? What's the current state? What are the pain points? All of these things would be included. And then besides next steps, it would break down all of the questions that you asked and all of the questions that they asked, or at least the key questions that were of importance. You can do chronological, is just in order of, I guess, what you talked about in the order of the conversation. I'm not sure whether that is something that's truly needed. One-on-one is definitely for updates. You're having a one-on-one with your client to find out what's going on. I think I use the one-on-one for my strategy. No, I don't. I use the project kickoff for my strategy, quarterly strategy calls, or if I have monthly strategy calls. But if you do interviews, if you are an HR person and you do interviews with your people using Zoom, you can certainly do a recap of that conversation as well. And that comes up with different categories that you're going to have in it. If it's stand up is track daily progress, tasks, and obstacles. So this could be an update conversation that you're having probably with somebody that's in a group coaching, and maybe you're having a one-on-one separate with them. So you can certainly have a call like that. If you are showcasing a tool or a software that you're using, you can probably use this demo one. Or maybe if you are, because bear in mind, Fathom is not just for people who are giving the calls or directing the calls. They're also for people that are receiving the calls. So as a guest, you could have your own Fathom Notetaker taking on those calls, and then you'll be able to categorize them accordingly as well. You can have one that just does a recap of all the questions and answers. That may be, that could help you curate. This is a good way to use this one. That could help you if you're doing this with, say, for example, a consultation or even a strategy call or any kind of a session where you're going to be talking to your ideal audience and you're going to have a conversation about what their needs are. That would be a great way, this recap of questions and answers, to get questions that you can then create content on, because these were questions that are being asked by your ideal audience. So even though utilizing these two tools in and of itself lend itself really well to maximizing your productivity in video meetings, which is the main reason or title for this video, you can use the content that you get from your calls for a multitude of different things. So I highly recommend using both of these. Like I mentioned, Fathom is free to start off with. You can access it through my link that I have in the description below. I really have fallen in love with this, and I want to hear if you are using Fathom. I want to hear what your thoughts are. And if you're not using Fathom and you're using something that you think is better than what I just described to you, which I find hard to believe, then I want to know about that too. Note that even though they have 12 categories here, I believe with the free version, it's just the first two. They might do the first three. I'm not sure. But you have to pay for the remainder. And I believe it's like $15 a month. I happen to take advantage of when they first announced that they were upgrading and having the paid version. And so they had a discount. It was at the end of last year. So I paid for a year in advance. So I don't remember exactly what the price points are. But I will say that this works for individuals as well as for teams. And I know on the team version, I'm in the process of checking out for the individual version. It works in tandem, or there's at least some syncing with CRMs like HubSpot and Salesforce. My CRM is neither of those. So I am going to look into, because they are on Zapier, I'm going to look into, actually I started, I need to fine tune it, because my CRM I don't think is available yet, but it might be. But for the time being, what I do is I copy the summary, because anytime you click on any one of these, I copy the summary. You're able to copy the summary, and I copy and paste that into my CRM so that I have the full conversation available for me to have on my CRM. But if you're on Salesforce or HubSpot, this does sync. I know it syncs with the team version of Fathom. I'm just not sure if it syncs with the individual version. And I think it's just a difference in price. It's like probably double the price for the team version versus the individual. But you certainly can share the link with your guests that you spoke to. So what I do for my networking calls or my consultations is I do a summary. And so in my email that I send, I just literally copy and paste the summary. And I put that in there with some other text that I use in my email. And in there is going to also be the link that they can use so that they can see the video if they want to. And that way they know exactly what was discussed and can remember that conversation as well. And then if you need to do anything else, you can do that here. You can extract action items from your transcript if you need to. So this just gives you a lot of different options. Another thing you can do is you can copy this for any of these purposes, but you can copy it and put it onto your project management tool. So I use Trello a lot for my management of all of the things that I have going on. So you can copy and paste it directly into Trello, or you can copy and paste it into your CRM. So it is totally up to you. So that is it. That was my first two tools that I'm going to share with you. I'm going to be coming in later this month. I'm going to have another one next week and the week after and the fourth week as well on 3 more tools. I don't know exactly which ones. Actually, I can tell you possibly what my next one is going to be. So my next tool is going to be on Cast Magic. And that actually is perfect for me to talk about, because that's going to be a workshop, a live workshop that I'm also going to be doing, that I'm co-hosting with Cast Magic at the end of this month. It's going to be free. It's on February 27th. Also in the link in the description, you'll be able to get a link to register for that. So like I said, this month, I'm just going to be focused on tools that I'm using, that I'm really loving, and I want to share that with you. So these live streams are just going to be like a quick overview. It's not necessarily going to be a down and dirty tutorial, but the workshop that I'm going to be doing on the 27th on one of those tools, Cast Magic, is going to be a little bit more in-depth than what you're going to be receiving today. All right. So thank you so, so much. I appreciate you for being here. And I hope to see you next week on, I guess that's Valentine's Day. I think I looked, that's the 14th, right? Yeah, it's going to be Tuesday, the 14th I think that's Tuesday, because today I know is Wednesday, and I had to do it Wednesday because I was too busy yesterday to do it. But typically, I try to come in here on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. I am going to start later this year announcing in advance so that you don't have to see me on replay, or those few of you that get to see me live and in person. And whether you're seeing this as a replay or not, please leave your comments and your thoughts in the comments below, because I do want to hear from you, and I want to hear what tools you're loving so that I can see if they are on my list as well. All right, so take care and have a good one. Bye.